Okay, what's up, guys? Arena Docs are back here for the fifth of our 5 limited top 5 set review for Innistrad Crimson Vow. This time we're going to review the red card, starting with number 5. Okay, this is the Ballista Watcher, so it costs 2 colorless and red for a human soldier werewolf. Baseline is a 4/3 and is daybound, and he has the ability to tap for 2 and a red to deal 1 damage to any target. Now, so just at baseline here, we've got a 4/3 for 4. Probably a little bit below playable. That ability to tap, you don't have to do it every turn. I mean, obviously, if you prefer to attack, you do that. 1 damage to any target. I think you're going to sneak some card advantage here. I think you're going to pick off some one toughness creatures here and there. That's going to be fine, though. Admittedly, this is a lot of mana for a kind of underwhelming ability, and that's fine. But this is only the front side to the card. Let's go to the back. We have the Ballista Wielder, a very goofy looking image of a guy who's looking trigger happy there, and he's just pumping the rest of the world full of bolts. So he is a 5/5, which is a much more respectable and much more durable than our 4/3. And for 3 mana at instant speed without tapping, he can deal 1 damage to any target. And additionally, after you get hit by one of his bolts, you cannot block this turn. So if you can get this card tonight, that's where it's really going to shine. So I think, let's say you got this, let's say it's night and you have 6 mana, you can pull off an alpha with this card. Not to mention, so he's a 5/5 body coming through. You take down their 2 best blockers, and they're in a whole lot of trouble.
Right, yeah. I'm not overly high on this card, although I think red is a very powerful color in general in this set. And I think the night side of this card is unreal. I mean, a 5/5 that can make their best 1 or 2 blockers not be able to block or kill a 1/1 or a 3/1 for just 3 mana and still attack that turn. If this was the card for 4 mana, this card would be number 1 or number 2 in red without a question. The answer you'll have to answer for yourself is how often will you get tonight? If you feel you're getting tonight quite often, this card's a no-brainer. Excellent card.
For sure. Yeah, I'm totally on the same page. I mean, the front side's not that bad. It's probably a little bit less than playable, borderline playable, but the back is just awesome.
I agree. Next, we're looking at a 5 mana sorcery, Lacerate Flesh for 1 red. It deals 4 damage to target creature, and then any excess damage you do to that creature, you create that many blood tokens. So obviously, ideally, you're doing 4 damage to a creature with 4 toughness, and you're not getting any blood tokens, but it does reward you if you're hitting a creature with 3 or 2 toughness. At least you're getting something back. Sorcery speed, removal spell, a little overpriced, but you're going to be happy to play these. You're going to pick them up at common, and you probably want 1 or 2 in your deck without question. So easily top 4 for red.
Yeah, right. It's not going to be as good as some of the upcoming removal, but at the end of the day, it's a removal spell that has potential. You know, if you shoot low where you kill their 2 toughness creature, then you get a couple damage. So nothing to write home about, but good reliable removal.
Right.
Okay. Next, we've got the Flame Blessed Bolt, which is kind of on the other end of the spectrum for a removal spell. This is much more efficient at just 1 red mana for an instant speed that deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and if it would die, exile it. So as we said in a previous video, the exile ability in this set is certainly relevant because you're going to see a lot of these guys that are low toughness. They're going to have a disturb cost, and the reason that your opponent included them in the deck in the first place was because they can disturb. Now this is going to exile them, which is great. So historically, this is just shock. 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker. I mean, I guess the only downside is you can't do it to face as shock can. It's not any target, but it's pretty close. And I think the exile effect more than makes up for the lack of ability to do it to face.
Yeah, I agree. This is shock. In standard, I think shock would be better. You'd rather have the versatility to go to face. But looking at all the cards that you do not want in graveyards and you want to have exiled, this actually, I would pick this over shock in this draft format. So big card, cheap removal, coming in at common, grab as many of these as you can. You're not going to be disappointed.
For sure.
Next we have a Braid. 2 mana, 1 red, instant speed spell. Has 2 formats you can do. Either it can deal 3 damage to any target creature, and if that's all the card said, that's excellent, right? 2 mana lightning bolt, 3 damage to any target creature. Premium removal spell. And then it has the ability to destroy target artifact, which every once in a while it comes into big hand. I mean, that can save games sometimes. They have an artifact that's just taking over the game. So utility, 2 formats. But I mean, baseline, you're going to play this as a 2 mana, deal 3 damage to target creature, and you're happy to play that as a premium removal spell.
Yeah, so it's a good card at baseline, but that destroy target artifact it's funny where you're going to have a lot of aggravated opponents who play their mythic rare, artifact, and then you just destroy it at instant speed, and they're just throw their hands up and concede the game. Anyway, okay, beautiful. So number 1, we have the most efficient and best bang for your buck here at Rending Flame. So this is 2 and a red for an instant speed spell that deals 5 damage to a creature or a planeswalker. If the permanent is a spirit, it also deals 2 damage to the controller. So this is classic red removal. It's damage based. It's going to kill almost everything with that 5 damage. I mean, we have seen a few creatures that have higher toughness than that, but there aren't many good ones. Right. Even back to our Ballista Wielder, he's only 5 toughness, so this can kill him, right? So and that's high end. So instant speed, it's in the middle of the road in terms of efficiency. So 3 mana, it's not as clunky and slow as the 5 mana sorcery. It's not quite as efficient as the 2 mana instant speed shock type, but it's in the middle of the road, and it's going to kill a much broader range of creatures that are going to be, and this is going to get the creatures that are going to kill you. This is going to be the ones that have, the 5 power, 5 toughness that you have no other way of dealing with them.
Yeah, this is an excellent card. You open this, pick one, pack one. You're happy to take it, happy to go into red or splash into red. This is one of those cards that you would splash. If you have any sort of mana fixing, you would consider to play this as maybe a 3rd color. Especially if you're in a green deck, as we saw in our previous video. Green doesn't have many removal spells. So if you have a couple of the mana fixtures in green and you're able to get this card early, this is a very splashable card. Big fan of it. Obviously, it's a great premium removal. Yeah, exactly. And overall, I mean, as far as our top 5 here, it was dominated by removal again. So if you're running a red-black deck, I mean, you're going to have just an excess of. You're probably going to be cutting removal. I mean, at that point, if you're in red and black and they're reasonably open, I think overall they're both quite strong colors. A lot of strong cards in the set so far. In all of our reviews here. So we will keep this train going, and we're going to do a lot more different types of reviews. We're going to look at rares. We're going to look at constructed. We're going to do drafts. So we'll be posting those as soon as they're done. Yep. So stay tuned. If you like these videos, please hit subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time.